This session, the program of this session listed 5 interventions. But we have only 4 speakers. That depends from by the absence of Professor Stock. That is really a pity, this absence. Professor Stock was we can see the creator spiritus of ALLEA. He is an old friend of our academy, of Turin Academy. When he was the president of the Berlin-Brandenburgische Akademie, and I self was president of Turin Academy, we organized 2 meetings. The first one in Turin on the theory of evolution and its impact, and the second one in Berlin on historiography and historismus. And I had also the pleasure of contributing to activity of ALLEA as editor of the first volume of the series studies on intellectual history, in the est of volume on the boundaries of Europe. The speakers of the remaining speakers of this session are the well-known rector of the Polytechnic of Turin. He needs no presentation. The second is Mrs. Dr. Licia Mattioli. The others are 2 old non-resident member of our academy, Professor Massimo Livi Bacci and Professor Salvatore Settis, both coming from Toscana. I give the word
Thank you.
to Professor Saracco.
Thank you very much. I'm going to stand up in front of you, as I normally do with my students, or I used to do, because I'm no longer teaching, unfortunately. It could be for a while, I don't know what's going to happen to me. But I'm going to talk about something that has been related to my career as a scientist, as a researcher, which is the environment, the protection of the environment. I'm a chemical engineer, and now I'm taking care of a university, and I'm a member of this academy, and I'm going to talk about what's the role of university and academies in the fight against the global warming and towards a sustainable development. Actually, the world is quite complex. There are different areas, the environment, the economical system, the society, that need to be taken care of all together in a holistic view that is bringing about policies that are not simple, as not simple are the problems to be solved. You remember that the first sensation that the world was finite and we were about to get rid of all our resources was in the middle of the past century with the Club of Rome and the limits to growth that were related not to the environment but to the fact that we were exploiting fossil sources, especially to a large extent, and that the oil, for instance, would have come to an end soon. Little by little you discover that the prediction that the end was 30 years from the present was shifting, and today also we can say that there are still 30 years of oil. So there has been also playing with this information for economical reasons. Anyway, what is more stringent and has changed completely this picture is the fact that the combustion of fossil sources, coal, oil, gas, is producing greenhouse gases, and these greenhouse gases have jumped to a level that has never been before, at least when man has been on Earth. And the current level, it brings about the greenhouse effects and the warming of the Earth. And IPCC, there are some global organisms that are committees that are predicting that this is going to bring about tremendous effects and that we need policies to reduce this. But what we are seeing at the present, and we have some glaciologists at Polytechnic of Torino, is visiting professor now, world famous Peter Wellams is going to deliver a lecture with me this afternoon in the Festival della Tecnologia. There are some exponential effects that are coming. For instance, the melting of the ice in the North Pole is leaving the permafrost open, and this is releasing methane to such an extent. Think of the fact that methane has a greenhouse power effect 21 times higher than CO2. That is going to boost the global warming further to an exponential level. And the glaciers, meanwhile they are melting, all the dust that has been accumulating on them gets on the top, and they get back, and they get more heat. All these kinds of exponential effects are coming now, so that the IPCC predictions are becoming optimistic. They were used to threaten, and then now they are optimistic. For instance, Peter Wellams has been demonstrating that we are not going to have the North Pole any longer, no matter what we do. It's a farewell to ice. North Pole is going to disappear. This is sure, and it's going to be fast. These are different months in the year, of course, and this is how large is the North Pole. Of course, when it is hot, when you are in summertime, the North Pole was in 1979 such large, but now it's much less, and this holds for any season. Of course, when it's getting frozen, it's enlarging, but year after year, at the same time in the year, it's shrinking, and it's going to disappear. And this gets the permafrost out. But there is another enemy that we have discovered: plastics. These are also something that is hitting us hard. So you see, we started with the problem of getting rid of all the oil as the risk, and now there are more stringent risks. Greenhouse effect, plastics that are accumulating in the world to such a level that change life on Earth, and we have problems. We are debating about plastic tax that is nonsense. I'm going to tell you about the fact that these big, complex problems do not have simple solutions. And there has been a number of mistakes taken by politicians. Look at this. Stiglitz, yesterday, we delivered a laurea honorem to him, says that he is crazy. And he told me, I've been writing this book on anti-globalization in the era of Trump because I am anti-globalist. But also Trump says he is anti-globalist, you know. And people were starting to say that we were on the same side. And I wanted to write a book to clarify definitely that I'm not on the side of Trump, and there are different ways to be anti-globalists. Here he was signing that he was opening the coal mines, and all the laborers were happy about that. Let's go back to mining coal. Awful. Luckily, no company would open now a plant based on coal because after 4 years of craziness, not mine, after 4 years of crazy behavior, the wind will change and they will have at least 25 years more of depreciation of the plant. And that's nonsense. So this is it. But who is this? Gorlier, the head of SEA. The past government said, I want to put a tax to defeat climate change problem on SUVs. Okay, I'm going to produce SUVs in France, in Germany. If you don't put this on over the world and you put all the competitors in the same situation, it's stupid. As stupid was Macron, after all, because he said, I'm not penalizing those that are producing the SUVs. I'm penalizing those that are buying the fuel. He put a tax, and France has higher taxes than Italy. Unbelievable, but true. He put a tax on the fuels, and then common people, the Gilets jaunes, started this mess. We had something similar. The Italian way was the forcone. You remember that? But we are Italian. After one week, we have such a good country and such a nice pizza and wine that we stop. They are still there fighting, and the French people are well known. But now we have the new stupid thing, the plastic tax. But this is not just offsetting competition. So I put a plastic tax here, and people go, Sant'Anna di Vinadio, say, okay, I'm going to produce Sant'Anna di Vinadio, bring the water outside, and then produce bottles there. Not to say that Sant'Anna di Vinadio was developing biodegradable plastics. But now they are so expensive, and there is not enough raw matter to do them, that is to the square power stupid. It's impossible to replace. Either you put a target and you follow a policy and you bring every country in that direction, or you are simply killing your companies. So any complex problem has a simple solution, but it's wrong. This is a motto. So that's why in this complex war, the United Nations have identified 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Maybe someone of you knows the life cycle assessment, LCA analysis. You analyze raw matter, how you're impacting with your, what is the energy consumption. Now you can say that any new thing may be analyzed in 17 directions because everything is interconnected. And you may now analyze things in a sort of life cycle 4.0, I call it, like the industry 4.0. It's more complex, but it's fun to see the impact on any of these sustainable development goals of any action you do, any new idea, this is nice, this is going to be done. And the right answer is systemic. You need to consider the level of governance, of economy, the individuals, and the science and technology, all together. And you get these matrices, and you get goals, direction is becoming complex, but it has to be handled like that. We gave this laurea d'honorem to the Nobel Prize Stiglitz, who was saying, in times of profound crisis, in the economy and the politics, we are exactly in this moment, non-profit organizations, foundations, academies, universities are the only social actors able to make a change towards new sustainable trajectory. And this is what is happening in Torino, by the way. The governmental body are following a strategic plan that we have been assembling by uniting universities, foundations, all. And this is producing impact. You have seen yesterday we were awarded the best incubator in the world. That was amazing, not to believe. There was a search committee analyzing 78 countries, about 400 incubators, and I3P is the best in the world. That's unbelievable. But it's some strong point that we have to put in this strategic plan and agenda. And so universities and academy are a place of value for this transition. Now we should do something and drive this process and get out of our comfort zone, out of our ebony tower. And to do this, academia, industry, government, and the society as a whole. Why are we promoting the Festival della Tecnologia? 300 experts, 160 events in Torino in these days. If not to get society, common people that are suffering and do not understand what happens. They understand, of course, that they have worse jobs and the cost of life is increasing. They do not have to fear technology. They have to understand it, and we are just doing this, trying to involve common people, because if you don't involve common people, they are voting for those that are saying, oh, it's not complex, he is the enemy. Let's defeat him and you are okay. You may explain the blackening of the eyes and the effect of corona, and someone says, this is what you say. Global warming is not. You may do this and this, and people is going that direction if they don't understand. So we should get out of the ebony tower, explain things to common people. It's also nice, by the way, and the things we are explaining are also nice. So there is we are sort of new warriors of this battle. We should change from university that produces graduates and know-how and gives it to the industry. And the industry, okay, you've done your job, now it's my time. We should mix industry, society, and university. Because I'm not able, I'm a chemical engineer, I'm not able to educate a chemical engineer to the end. I'm not a professional. I'm not in the real world where the chemical engineers act. I need someone from industry to do this. Once upon a time in the Politecnico, you had people that were also working outside, new, and that was not bad. It's impossible now because the careers of professors are completely bound to science, and that could be a solution for, it could be okay. But then we have to open the gates to society, to industry, to professionals from the real, otherwise we're losing opportunities. Otherwise, if I give you my nerd type engineer, you need 2 years to get him acquainted with real life and the dynamics of society. And this is simply a loss for Italy. By the way, I'm not the only university doing this. University of Torino is rethinking this, and we are doing that together with these committees at the border where social sciences meet technology. But any university, technical university, is doing the same. MIT is doing the same. It's an hectic moment for that, and maybe that we can become the first university in the world if we are successful in changing everything in this paradigm. We should warn about the limits, put incentives, not taxes, incentives, not taxes, and get people warned so that they understand why they are going that direction, even if it's not the one that they were expecting. And we have a crucial role in this. There are large committees of universities that are thinking about how to do that. Also in the north of our continent, there are network of universities. You know that also our Ministry of Education now is keen on this and wants that any course has a sustainability oriented lessons compulsory. In Italy, we have developed Rete Università per lo Sviluppo Sostenibile, RUS. And owing to the fact that Polytechnic di Torino has been investing a lot in this, the coordinator, national coordinator, is my deputy rector, Professoressa Patrizia Lombardi. And in Torino, we have a strict connection between the University of Torino and Polytechnic di Torino with their green teams. We are doing common policies here. And what is nice is that we are really driving the world of Italian university towards a better, to demonstrate on their own premises that we can be more sustainable. But as you will see, we are trying with our new strategic plan, that is Polito for Impact. It's, we would like to impact on society. That's a change of perspective. We are trying to analyze all our action in terms of these sustainable development goals. And we have been setting up an analysis, deep analysis of what we are teaching, of the research we are doing in this perspective. And that lasted 1 year, but after that, we know we are mapping, we could map the teaching activities that are related to any of the sustainable goals to see where we are pushing our students towards, and we are also doing the same for research. We should not left anything unexploited, and then we should set up alliances with other universities that have different maps in order to organize ourselves to give a good answer to the Sustainable Development Goals. And then we are also trying to see, we start also with common people in the university to understand how are they aware of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is baseline. Do you know, someone said, no, what are they? Okay. And what is your where do you feel more engaged? And then you see that there are some of the Sustainable Development Goals. I don't have time to get into too many details here, but. And we then started policies. We were among the first ones in Italy to deliver metal bottles, trying to eliminate completely plastics in the campus. We display several Tourette, untranslatable. And it's fun. We, of course, with large number you can get low prices. That's a market rule, and you can brand, and that's. But I see that now many universities do that. Okay, that's good. It's nice to see good practices replicated. That's our task. We are also studying in the green team. We have experts of garbage handling, of transportation, motion. We have even a challenge launched by a company on how to optimize the motion of people in the campus, which and at the end turns into a consumption of fossil sources and so on. But I would say that the most important thing that we can do all together, all the academies, all the universities, is to change the way we are teaching, change the way we are educating. Shifting from delivering information to engaging and discussing information that people now can get from so many media. So it's more important to discuss also with experts from outside, to set up groups of students, to let them be the prime actors of their learning process. From a content-centered learning, we are shifting towards a student-centered learning. To what extent? Of course, you cannot completely change everything. It's wrong. In America, they start from problems and they assemble fundamentals to solve the problems, but they don't get the picture complete and then they're not strong enough. I'm not talking about changing completely. I'm talking about contaminating the education we traditionally deliver to our engineers that has not been changing for 160 years, more or less, with social and human sciences. And then it's a good news that we have a University of Torino that has this and that can give us experts. With problem-solving activities, someone from the real world comes with a problem you meet in real jobs. And a group of students from different disciplines try to tackle this problem on their own, learn how to tackle, find solution, and then discuss. Of course, you should be like those that are writing books. Don't reveal the assassin immediately. But at the end, maybe also that the groups of students at that shore are thinking of something out of the box and give you a solution. Because in real life, complex problems do not have one solution given by an equation. Have several solutions that are depending on many factors, and it's important with critical sense to find the best solution for you as a professional. And then in the magistrali we open challenges where, once more, people coming maybe also from different universities and different disciplines find to meet together. The groups at the better size is from 6 to 8 people. If they're too large, they're going to be niche that are not going to work. If they're too small, it's not enough diversity in the group. Face challenges, which is not a problem you find in, it's an opportunity of innovation that if tackled, if reached, can be a game changer for a company, for a territorial body, government body, or for a professional consultancy agency or whatever. And we have launched this, and it's nice, and they can go after hours. It's not needed when they working group to be there from 8:30 to 10:30 in ALLEA there. There are nice places to do this, and they look like kitchen, because they have the coffee place and the sofa where you think, where you take a coffee. Then you go and you have a round table where you can work together like in real life. The work in the company is shifting from single offices to open space where you have different experts of different disciplines. This is productive, can get to innovation faster and more efficiently. And so, this is what happens. This is what's happening in our challenges with people working on problems, coming up with prototypes, explaining things. They do not just learn how to work together, but also how to communicate, which is important. Nerd engineers do not communicate. They are crazy about technology, but they do not. This is losing in our world. So, creative engineers could be the solution for the current for the current problem. This is not only me, but a number of universities, among them the University of Tel Aviv, with a major difference. They have as many PhD students as bachelor and master students. We unfortunately have only, at Polytechnic Torino, 700 PhD students over 34,000. We are pushing hard to have more PhD students, more people trying to find solutions to have this problem set to a solution. Thank you very much for your attention. I am ready to answer for your questions.
Thank you, Professor Saracco.
Grazie.
Some question to Professor Saracco?
Just a question.
A moment.
You said critical sense in sense to judge the different results in complex problems. But I think it's very important to have a critical sense at the beginning when to study the different problem, to prepare student in the critical sense. Because I think that is a very big problem that the people don't have the capacity to evaluate what see, watching television, they read in the paper, to try to understand if it's true or not true, to put some question about it.
Completely agree, and indeed we are planning to place social and human sciences that help a lot as technologists to better focus and understand the level of the problems, and what you say, before having the problem-solving session. So our engineers will have the opportunity to study ethics, sociology, law, that is quite important for anyone developing technologies, before facing then the real problems and before facing the innovation opportunities. Let me finish by saying that the Academy of Science may be very helpful because these groups of students need consultancy from people. And that's great.
Another question.
Yes, thank you very much for your very interesting talk, and I completely agree with you, but there's one point I would like to add. Don't say something against nerds and against the Ebony Tower. So well, I think because the Ebony Tower, with all its nerds in it, they really create something which you need for your going out, for your warriors.
Okay. Nerds, indeed. I think myself as a nerd, yes, or at least. I got out after studying some sociology, something that I discovered 2-3 years ago, because I was a nerd. And the way university is handled nowadays, and we have to change it rapidly, is that you become a nerd because you are asked to do your specialization until you become a full professor, then you go on like that, and then you understand what I've been doing for 20 years of my life. Cutting, we say in Italy, cutting an hair into 4 pieces when the world was... Okay, I agree, of course. I pull my own legs by saying that I have been a nerd for such a long time. That now maybe I'm doing something right, but if I were not I mean, I've been losing opportunities. And I think that university now is not helping to be innovative, and that most of the boost of innovation is going to derive by the fact that we are educating in a different way our engineers. You start from that, then you will have more opportunities of innovation, and then you have now the best incubator in the world, in Torino. Thank you very much.